What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my unit review and builds guide for Perne, our latest Grandeur Battle unit. So he's a colorless infantry dagger with Blade Royale as the preferred weapon, and this is a 9 might player phase brave weapon that gives him +3 speed, and then at start of turn, if he's within 2 spaces of an ally, then he can give himself and them +6 attack and speed buff, and also debuff neutralization status that we've seen before on Penny's remixed Gentle Dream Plus and also on Garrick's Weapon Refine. So it's a pretty good status to have when we have threats like Duo Sanaki and Yune running around that capitalize of the debuffs of the enemies. And this does allow him to function as a pretty good support unit, and then in the combat for himself, if he initiates combat or if he's within 2 spaces of an ally, then he can get +5 to all of his stats and also get special cooldown +1 on both enemies' attacks and his own attacks. And because this is a player phase brave weapon, he's going to be able to attack twice in the player phase, and just like all of the daggers, it does have the Dagger 7 built in. So this might remind you of another dagger infantry unit that we got over a year ago in Legendary Female Shiz. And if you compare her weapon, then Blade Royale is going to be coming out on top, despite the fact that it's not a dual phase brave weapon. But still, the full picture is given to you with the preferred skill of Legendary Female Shiz and Swift Slices, which is going to be giving her that effective damage, which just enables her to function as a really amazing nuke even today. And because of having dual phase brave weapon, she can function with speed preempt, which is something that Perne cannot really do. And even though having Swift Slice does make a world of difference, still having a preferred weapon like Blade Royale on a free-to-play unit is really good. He can be compared to the other free-to-play dagger infantry units, and he just comes out on top without any kind of trouble. Gangrel is going to be getting a weapon refine in March of 2024, so maybe he is able to jump back with a good refine. And Kronia does function in a different niche, and she has gotten some new tools like Fatal Smoke 4 and also Brave Robin as the support, and she can also just run Special Spiral 4. But still, Perne is going to be standing out as a free-to-play unit because of this weapon. And we do have some recent dagger infantry units, but they don't really have any kind of preferred weapon, and they'll have to run Arcane Void as their best weapon. So Perne is going to be able to use his attack set pretty well with this kind of weapon, and it does have a super boon, and then you can just ascend a speed asset if you're going to be spending an ascended floret on him. And if you're just going to be spending trade fruits, then I do think that prioritizing attack is going to be helping with a weapon like this that has got the player phase brave effect. And he's also going to be providing you with null follow-up for the fodder, and this can be helpful especially if you have built up Lumera, and having another Grail unit have null follow-up 3 is pretty good. But other than that, he's not going to be having something insane as the fodder, and overall he's going to be functioning as a really good free-to-play unit with solid stats, good preferred weapon, and also good support. So not only he can give you that support, but he can also be good in the combat because of having this kind of player phase brave weapon that gives you special cooldown charge +1. And he can be useful even for the competitive play in Aether Raids offense in the Astro season, because in the light season there's going to be Perne who already provides you with the debuff neutralization status, and in Aether Raids offense, if you're not using Garrick, then Perne is going to be another unit who can give you that debuff neutralization status, which, like I mentioned before, is really helpful for facing many of the nukes. And because he's an infantry unit, he has got access to many good skills like Tempo 4 skills, Physical Null Follow-up, there's also Infantry Pulse, so a lot of options can be run on him. But if you already use Garrick for the tank support and the debuff neutralization, then you might not really need him too much, and Perne is only able to give out the debuff neutralization status to the allies in 2 spaces, whereas Garrick has got the global range with his weapon. So he can help you with pre-charging the specials as well. And even if you're casual and you don't really care too much about the competitive game modes, Perne can still be a useful unit for your Thracia roster for stuff like limited battles and resonant battles. He can easily be built up on a budget, so you can just give him Moonbow so that he can trigger that on his brave attack, and then he can just run Fury 3 as he slot a skill because he doesn't really have any kind of HP threshold with his weapon, so the chip damage is not the biggest deal, and he can just keep null follow-up and drive speed. Blade Session is going to be giving you the most amount of offenses, so that is going to be helpful with the brave weapon, and you can also use him as a budget buff bot by giving him Defense Res Link 3, so he's going to be able to buff up all stats of an ally by smiting them, and he's also going to be able to make use of bonus doubler. He already gives attack and speed buff with his weapon, so something like this could be done if you want him to function more as a supportive unit. And if you're going to be plus and merging him, then you can pick the attack IV as the asset, which is really good with a brave weapon, and you can just use up some of the fodder from divine codes like attack speed ideal 4, John drive speed, and even lethality is present in the codes. But if you're going to be really investing in him heavily, then having a tier 4 tempo skill or tier 4 null follow-up is going to be helping you pierce through the damage reduction on his brave attacks. And Remote Sparrow is an extremely good slotty option that you can run on him because it is going to be helping you in case you quad attack. So the damage reduction can definitely be helpful in surviving the counter attack of the enemy. And then Panic Smoke 4 is also an option that you can run in his slot C because an Oath 4 skill is kind of redundant with the visible buffs that he already gives out with his weapon. So Panic Smoke 4 does function pretty well with the Dagger 7 debuffs. And if you have a 2 Nino, then he's gonna be easily taking all of her skills along with Flash Sparrow, which is really not useful with his weapon. So that's why again Remote Sparrow is gonna be the option. And Time Pulse 4 could be run in his slot C. And with Quick Impulse, you can just have a 2 cooldown lethality, which you can trigger on your brave attack. And having a tempo 4 skill is really good because you already get the special charges from his weapon. So being able to completely ignore any kind of guard skills of the enemies is going to be really helping you just trigger your specials a lot easily, even if you don't run him with lethality. And he can also function in Aether Raids offense as a tank support. And if you have an extra heather, then he can easily make use of the Ruse 4 skill and also Remote Sparrow. And you can run him with Rally Defense Rest Plus because it's perfect with his weapon. And then Infantry Null Follow-Up can also be a slot C option that he can run. So he's going to be able to give a tank 2 status effects in form of debuff neutralization and also Null Follow-Up, which is good for triggering something like a Prime skill. And those 2 status are really helpful for tanking. And then you can also inflict the enemies with the Guard status, the Discord status, and also the very important Schism status, which is going to be helping you quite a lot against Rattle Catria and Winter Cordelia teams. So this is also a way of using him because he's going to be taking the backseat when it comes to Aether Raids offense and isn't necessarily going to be used too much for his combat. And if you already have something like a Ruse 4 Aether, then you don't really need him to run the Ruse skill, and you can just run him with Disarm Trap 4. So this way you can just step on the traps easily, and you don't really have to take the bolt trap damage with a tanking team, and this can even help you get to the pods pretty easily. And Infantry Pulse 4 is another good support skill that you can run on him for Aether Raids offense. And if you want to use him at plus and merge in arena, then it could be done because he can give you that support in the arena as well, even though debuff neutralization is not as coveted as it is in Aether Raids offense, but still it is a useful thing to have. And you can just run him with Ruptured Sky and a Finish 4 skill. And with the tempo skill, you can easily trigger Ruptured Sky on his brave attacks, and Fleeting Echo can help you with the damage reduction. And even though he only scores as a 190 BST unit at max, it is still an option that you can do if you're heavily investing in him. And if you want to run him in Summoner Duels, then he can run the Miracle build with the special charges of his weapon and also by running the tempo skill. Now this looks like a really weird build, but let me explain. Basically, in Summoner Duels, Duo Byleth is easily one of the best far-safe tanks that you're going to be facing quite a lot. And because of having a brave weapon with special charges built in, you're able to charge a Miracle before Winter Byleth can retaliate back to you. And because of Miracle being a non-damaging special, it is not going to get scaled by Winter Byleth's weapon. So that's why you can run an Infantry Pulse 4 or even Time Pulse and pretty much have a 4 cooldown Miracle, which you're going to be having ready for the counter attack of Winter Byleth. And most of the time you need this because Winter Byleth does not go down in like 2 attacks most of the time. So you're going to be needing to quad attack him, which you can easily do. And Winter Byleth doesn't really have any kind of guaranteed follow-up attack in his kit. So most of the time you can survive because of the Miracle and still do a lot of damage to him and also kill him in many instances. And surviving Duo Byleth can really help you chip him down and can also help you win matches. So it's a tech option that you can do for Summoner Duels, even though I know that many people don't really play Summoner Duels, but still, it's definitely something you can do if you plus and merge him. I'm really happy how Book 8 has started and it has given us some amazing free-to-play units. So hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more free videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as debuffs on Perne. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.